them down and just tweak that, and now it looks like we're actually at the top. So even though we're just at the base level, now we have the cityscape that's outside that we can kind of look at and see. So we're kind of good to go with that. And now let's look at lighting. So I'm going to take this work light that we were talking about, and I'm going to toggle off enabled. So now it's not going to work anymore, because that's just for building purposes. We don't want that for any other purposes. So I'm going to add some new point lights at the corner, and these are going to represent the ambient light that's coming off the buildings. So let's get this adjusted. So I'll get the one in position, and either you want to make it at the level of the bottom of the deck or lower, because that's where the light's coming from. You wouldn't want to make it at the top. It won't look as accurate. As long as you have light mass, you can put it below the deck and it'll bounce off the ceiling and go around, but it's not going to be as bright. The one key is to make sure that you get the color the same. And I used the eyedropper and had some issues. It was a little green, so I'm just manually picking a yellow-orange. Getting in the ballpark, it'll be enough when people look at it, because all the surfaces have inherent materials on them. If everything was white, you would notice it would be a different temperature, but that's not going to be an issue. And I'm just kind of moving these away from each other, so there's a little bit of space between the point lights and the city blocks. And also we're going to do that for another reason, because we don't want all the city blocks to be rendered, because they basically have their own emissive channel, and that's what's illuminating them. So they're not responding. There's no diffuse, basically. So we're going to reactivate the builder brush, which I had set to 1 by 1 by 1, and we're going to size it so that we contain the model and the brushes for the deck and the lights. And we're not going to include any of the city buildings at all, because we don't want them to be calculated. And this is to enable light mass to move a lot more efficiently. So we get on to volume, and we turn light mass importance volume, which basically says anything within the shape, I want you to calculate light bouncing around. But if something's not in the shape, don't worry about it. It's just a way to save time and optimize. So I recommend doing it. And sometimes you get error messages that recommend you do it anyway, just if you have a big level. So we have that set up, and now we can see the horizon. So let's think about how we can do this. Go into World Properties, and the very top one is rendering. And like we did in the pool demo, there's a post-processing, and this is global as opposed to individual, which is what we did. And let's toggle on depth of field. And what that's going to do is it's going to blur the distance. And if I want to bring it a little closer, I can tweak some of these numbers, so that's how far away it blurs, and also I can do when it starts. It's a little close right now, so if I wanted to push it away a little bit, I can adjust that. And you can spend some time tweaking or increase and decrease the amount, and it depends whether or not you have a sky dome or other items, or how you want people to actually interact with the space. And then the other thing I want to do is go into fog and do the constant density item, and highlight it, and right click and add the fog. And now we're going to scale it, and we're going to basically envelop the whole world inside the fog, and this will be our secondary way. So we have depth of field plus the fog as a way to basically limit the visual depth. And we want to change the fog color to the orange, the yellow orange as well. And at this point, this is too thick, so there's 3 zeros right now. I'm going to add 2 more, hit enter, and it looks like it's not there, but if I toggle off enable, you can see that right on the horizon it exists. So we have that set up, and at this point you can save everything. Make sure that you have your kill Z on. Make sure that you want to go up to lighting under build and not choose preview, but hold down and choose production. That's that one area you always get, and it's going to take a lot longer to render and calculate the light bouncing around, but it's going to look a lot better. So this is what they call production lighting. This is 5 minutes later, so we're all done, and go play on level, and this is our final scene. and what it looks like. And you can look and you can see we have the emissive channels on the inside and the little shop area. You also might want to add a blocking volume if you want people to go to the edge. That's it. And then outside we have other lights and the depth of field and the fog all working together to create the illusion of a pretty realistic space.